Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a quickie review of the new Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds album, Who Built the Moon. Noel Gallagher, singer, songwriter, you most likely know him from the band Oasis, which he was in for years with his brother Liam, who also came out with a solo record this year. That was pretty good. This is the third High Flying Birds album, though. I've never really been that much into Noel's post-Oasis stuff. However, some of the lead-up singles to this new album over here said to me that maybe this album was going to be the most experimental and psychedelic yet in the High Flying Birds discography, and most certainly it is. Not that the High Flying Birds haven't had psychedelic leanings in the past, they definitely have, but Fort Knox, Who Built the Moon, like the tracks, the previews that I was hearing from this thing, such dense, thick, heavy, kaleidoscopic, colorful instrumentation, and some weird found sounds and like samples on this thing that you wouldn't necessarily expect, like the incessant ringing alarm clock on this thing that plays throughout much of Fort Knox. There are also some weird pieces of instrumentation and tape loops and electronic sequencing on this thing. So the sound, it's pretty dense. It's compressed a lot too, and full of reverb. It's like a big brick. Almost to a fault though at points, because Noel's vocals really are washed away in these instrumentals, and in my opinion he's not that strong of a vocalist, of a songwriter to begin with, so for his songs to get kind of a little overpowered in these linear, groovy, hypnotic instrumentals, it's the songs, man. And the lyrics, that's just where this album obviously falters. Like, Noel clearly has some shortcomings when it comes to lyricism. Just look at the lyrics for the song Holy Mountain or She Taught Me to Fly, like maybe two of the hardest moments on this record to stomach, just simply from a lyrical standpoint. Meanwhile, the songs, the chord progressions, the melodies at the core of these instrumentals are not that interesting a lot of the time either. Sure, some of these tracks do have incredibly climactic instrumental finishes, like The Man Who Built the Moon, which has these amazing, wailing, loud, blaring lead melodies calling out over this dense instrumentation, keyboards, guitars, bass. It's so friggin' heavy, it's so powerful, it's an amazing final moment to the album. But still, it feels like a lot of the time Noel is coming through with these groovy, linear, kind of repetitive instrumentals first, and then maybe writing songs to that. Either that, or he's drumming up these songs acoustically and then somehow losing the body and the nuance and the intimacy of the song in the process of just throwing in all this layered instrumentation. Either way, it feels like we're kind of losing a touch of dynamics or sort of an emotional connection to these tracks a lot of the time, which just is what it is, I guess. There are lots of bands and lots of records that go in this direction, write songs in this way, that I don't quite mind. In fact, I enjoy quite a bit. But if Noel is going to take a record in this direction, it just has to kind of go farther. The sounds are certainly there, though a little compressed, though a little overblown, but I feel like the instrumentation, the experimentation, it doesn't quite go the extra mile. Especially on If Love Is the Law or Black and White Sunshine, whose instrumentals I find to be kind of plain. It's just funny to get two Gallagher Brothers records in 1 year because it kind of creates this yin and yang situation. This record has the sense of sonic adventure that I wish Liam's album had. Meanwhile, Liam's album has the songwriting quality and the single power that I wish this new Noel album had. I could see myself returning to some of the songs on each of these two records occasionally, but for completely different reasons. This new Noel album is decent. There are some points where it's a little middle of the road, it's a little bland, but I didn't hate a single song on this thing. Even on moments where I found the song to be kind of underwhelming, there were some incredible instrumental ideas floating about. I'm feeling kind of a light to decent 6 on this thing, if I'm being completely honest. It's okay. But let me know what you guys thought of it down in the comments. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And I will see you in the next one. Over here next to my head is that Liam Gallagher review. You can check that out. You can click on that, or you can click on the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, Who Built the Moon, forever.